All right. I wanted to record to the cloud. I kept clicking record to my computer. And if I record to my computer, it is on my computer. And if it's on my computer, then it's my responsibility to upload it. And if it's my responsibility to upload it, you'll see it in January. If you want to upload it within a reasonable time, I got to put it on the cloud so Sid can access it. So, all right. Where's our guest? Andrew, where are you at?
I'm right here, present.
Yeah, you are. Let's go ahead and spotlight you. I'm gonna join you up here. All
Cool.
right. What's up, man?
What's up, puppy? I'm chilling,
Yo,
man.
I appreciate the last minute. I had another guest lined up, couldn't make it, and I shot out to a group chat. I'm like, hey, anyone want to come hang out with me on Wednesday at my call? And you're like, hey, I'm happy to.
You call, I'll be there, brother. It's like
I
the
love
bat
it, man.
signal. I'm
I love
in.
it. Well, hey, I want you to there might be some people on here. In fact, go put in the comments if you don't know Andrew Jimenez yet. Go put one in the comments if you haven't met him. Couple people.
Couple people.
I genuinely hoped there wouldn't be a lot. I'm like, people got to know you. So we got a handful that
Oh, there
don't
we
know
go. We
you.
got more. All
I
right.
got some more. All right. Um, man, bring us back. I'll tell you. I think it was my first conference. You were on stage at conference, and you shared your story of getting started, right? The boxes, the warehouse, grandma's house, locking yourself in, 1,000 dials in a weekend, doubting yourself. Like if this is what average is, I know I'm not average, so I'm gonna probably have to do more. And I'm listening to this story, and I'm like, this guy is so young, he gets it. And he is speaking to me in just real authentic way. There was nothing that was like sugar coated. It was all just real. And I'm like, I freaking love this dude. Like, I love nothing more than authenticity. And it just rang through. So I heard you on that stage, and I'm like, I think we're gonna be friends one day. And I don't know if you knew that yet, but I'm blessed to call you a friend and a brother in this business, man.
Likewise, my friend. Freaking love you a ton, dude.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right. Bring us back to those days though. Talk people through. You were what, 20, 21 when you got started here? Like you were just a young buck. What makes a 21-year-old go, you know what? I want the responsibility of like being my own boss and working for myself.
Other than being broke and desperate.
Sure. Other than that, yeah.
That was the main thing. I mean, like, guys, again, Andrew Jimenez here, direct to the bald, the beautiful Mr. Jacob Pogue. I am uberly grateful for that because, man, that he's in the man that I even married my wife and I together. And just so grateful for what he's been in our lives and kind of like how we've been here. And for those of you guys don't know, like my manager who hired me quit, right? They effectively sold his business to Jacob. So I really started working with Jacob around like 2019, and we have just built an incredible bond at this point. Now, going way back to 2016 when I first got started in this thing, guys, I was 21 years old. I'd never done sales, I'd never done insurance, I'd never done anything like this before. I was stocking boxes in a warehouse for about 12 bucks an hour. So I made 1,500 bucks a month. I had $600 in rent, $600 in student loans, and 100 and something dollars left over for food, gas, electricity, you name it. At the time, I was walking a mile and a half down to the grocery store, which is actually the dollar store, in 115-degree Arizona heat to go ahead and buy a loaf of bread, jar of jelly, and jar of peanut butter because it was about $7. I would also go to the dollar store and I would get a 12 pack of Baby Ruths for like $1.50, and those were my desserts, kind of. And since it's been whatever, almost like it'll be 10 years coming up, I haven't eaten a PB&J since because I just kind of found myself in a place where, I mean, I'm a college dropout. I had nothing going for me. I was barely making it, and I'm just like, well, got nothing else going. Might as well try sales. Tried to go into car sales, the dealerships I wanted to work at, right? I didn't want to be the slap the hood kind of used car salesman guy. They just said, go get some experience, come on back. Then I went to cubicle work and I went and did that like cubicle sales stuff, direct TV. I lasted 2 weeks. It just was not my energy, not my vibe. I said thanks, but no thanks, and signed off. And then I found insurance. And my first thought was like, oh, Jim, that sounds pretty good. And like I have life insurance. Everybody kind of needs that. It makes sense. My grandma could use some final expenses. That sounds good. And then it was, oh shoot, what if they got me like door knocking in 115-degree heat? I live out in Arizona. Like that's gonna be crazy. And then my next thought was, man, I just walked away from the whole cubicle thing. What if they got me like being Jake at State Farm or something like that?
Take his State Farm.
And it was none of that. There was a process, there was a business, there was mentorship, there was training. It felt like it was a true system. And that was back in 2016. I made 80 grand my first year in this business, not knowing jack diddly about nothing. Went on to make 100 grand the year after that, 200 the year after that, and haven't made anything less than that since. And this has now become a 10-year long career. And it's just every year has gotten better. So I'll pause there and we can go from there.
Yeah, man, it's so good. I think one of the things that struck me so much in hearing your story was the way that you embraced the fact that you were the new variable. Like you somehow you trusted the system. And I don't watch a lot of new people do that, Andrew. A lot of new people come in and they put the system on trial. Do these leads really work? Do these scripts really work? Does this mentorship really work? And they treat it as though they have arrived and all this other stuff is on trial. And you came here and you in humility, and maybe it was just you were just so young you knew nothing but humility, but like you came here and you were willing to trust the system and say, I know that works, so I'm gonna have to work it maybe harder because I'm not good at it. Walk us through how you embraced yourself as the new variable.
Yeah, I think that I'm gonna I don't want to dive too much into it because I've moved past a lot of the things, but like I've gotten in I was at a point in my life where I became like the black sheep of the family. My dad and I were in a really tough spot. I was by myself at that point. Now and I get got to a point where I was living with my grandma and it it was just I couldn't let everyone else be right and tell the story before I had gotten a chance to write it. And
Mm,
like everybody was telling me, Jim, that you're getting into insurance, you're doing sales. Why don't you go back to college? You know, our family immigrated from the New York, like DR. Like, why are you doing this? Like, you'd be so much better off, yada, yada, yada. And I had an extreme belief that I was going to figure something out. Like, I knew I was a smart kid. I knew I could figure things out, but I wanted the true opportunity. And when I saw this thing, I really wanted to run with it. So that, mind you, I did not really understand just how big of a learning curve it was going to take for myself. Knowing, and if I can give anybody an example, like again, 21, only job ever was stocking boxes in the warehouse. I worked 2 weeks at a call center. I had no experience. I don't know what it is to have relationship skills. I don't know what it is to have communication skills. I don't know what it is to train, develop, anything like that. Everything I've learned ever since has been through the mentorship and development here that Symmetry's provided. So I found myself at a point where I said, man, if the stadium here is in Arizona, some people get to start off at the 20-yard line. Some people get to start off the 50-yard line. Some people start off at their own 10. Andrew, who's probably in New York City, I don't even have a ticket to the game yet, but I still got to figure out how to get there. So I just came with that level of like, let's kind of figure it out as we go. But I very quickly realized just how much I was below average and had to work to get there.
mm. Yeah, I loved hearing that. And it's crazy to think. I mean, you started at 21, you've been here 10 years. Virtually your entire adult life is here. Like you grew
Yeah.
up professionally in Symmetry. Like I would ask the difference between you now and you 10 years ago. It is an entire lifetime of difference. Like you don't know a professional world outside of this.
It's literally a third of my life.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been here
so
10 years.
crazy to
I'm 30
think.
now. Yeah.
Does that pose any challenge for you in like you get guys in their 40s and 50s coming in with, a career of professional experience? Are there challenges in mentoring that for you?
There was very early on, maybe like 2017. I remember I hired one guy that would not listen to me whatsoever. 50, 60 years old. And I remember this conversation because I had talked to my mentor about it. And I'm like, did I go like off the deep end on this guy? But he was just like, you're 21, 22. Why should I have to listen to you? You don't know nothing about nothing. And I'm over here thinking to myself, I literally told him this and paraphrasing with much harsher words, which I also learned I had to work on. I said, well, as far as I can count, I've made nearly $200,000 to this point, and you've made zero. So I can teach you how to make 200 grand. Otherwise, you can leave today and I can go hire somebody else. And like I said, it wasn't as like poised and nice. I was much meaner about it. But that was also then the realization that like I started a second, I had all these self-doubt feelings. There were multiple times, Jim, my entire first year of recruiting, like I only brought in, I think 14 people, 14 opt IDs, RTWs, right?
Yep.
And out of those 14, I had two agents. I had one agent that hadn't sold a policy in his first 20 something sits. And then I had another agent who was running appointments and she was now becoming so broke in this business after, months in it that she couldn't even afford gas money to go to the gas station. And the self-doubt would creep in and I just think to myself, I mean, at the time I had come into the business like 4 months before me, it was like Ryan Miller. So I had Miranda Martin, Carl Miller, Roddy Jessup, all these individuals that were massive, writing 5K, 10K, 40,000, agencies doing $400,000 in sales in like 8 months. And I'm over here thinking to myself, like, man, these guys, my agents would be so much better off direct to somebody else. Like, I can't lead the way they can. I don't have that experience. I don't have that managerial thing. And the only thing I kept reminding myself, Jim, is they all did start somewhere too.
Mm.
They just because their symmetry business started at the same time frame 4 months before me. Yeah, yeah, well, they also had 20 years of prior experience somewhere else. And I had to keep reminding myself that like Andrew, it's okay to have self-doubt. Just don't make it crippling self-doubt. It's okay to question your ability. Just don't ask yourself, why are you like this? Stop saying wow, start asking how. All those
Mm.
little things were just like things that I kept working on myself for that eventually you grow into.
Yeah, that's man, it's so good. And in a decade, it's crazy to me because like we've grown so fast here, but I'm well aware that it's like the tree that has really pretty flowers, but the roots are only 3 years deep.
Yeah.
And so I'm still trying to figure out like who are the people here, right here on this call? Who are the people that are going to be with me in 5 years? Who are the people that are going to be with me in a decade? Like who are those people? And you've probably seen a lot of people, I would imagine in 10 years, a lot of people come, a lot of people go.
Yep.
When you watch people go, what are the reasons why? What are you seeing when people come in here and they don't, just for whatever reason, it doesn't work? When you try to put your finger on in the after action report or the post quitting interview, like what are the reasons you're seeing?
I'm gonna ex-nay the spouse part.
Okay.
I'm gonna get rid of that one because I love what Melinda said one time is like stop expecting your spouse to be your biggest cheerleader if you're not giving them anything to cheer about. Right? Like you
Mm.
gotta go actually do the work and make them feel like they can support something. So I'm gonna
Can you
neg
can you can you
say
say can you say that again though? I know you're gonna put that on a shelf, but before you put that on a shelf, I want to hear that again.
okay. Melinda Crutchfield, thought dropped one of the greatest lines ever. That eventually got because Rev, her husband, was so against this whole business because she just had this realization. Don't expect your spouse to be your biggest cheerleader if you're not giving them anything to actually cheer about. Go find success. Go figure it out. Go do 10, 15 sits in a week and watch your life change. Actually work from Monday to Sunday. Work 7 days in a row, 14 days in a row, and then go throw 5, 6 grand in the bank account and make them feel like, oh wow, that was a lot of work, but can we figure this out? Like how are other people doing this thing? Like that's basically the biggest thing I can say to anybody.
Man, that just struck me. I have all the guys in my family. So my brother, my brother-in-law, my dad, we're going through this. We're going through all the Marvel movies, like from the beginning together. And we bring all the kids. So it's like multi-generational with grandpa. So
Okay.
like once a week, like we'll pick a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday that it's gonna work for everybody to come over and we'll eat together and then we'll go watch a movie together. And I told him, hey, come over Sunday at 3. We're gonna watch a movie. And my dad texted me, he's like, hey, you know the Eagles. I'm a big Philly Eagles fan. He's like, you know the Eagles are playing at 1. I'm like, they freaking suck right now. The wheels are falling off the bus. I don't need to watch them. I'd rather go watch this movie. And that's to that same point. Like, nobody wants to cheer for a losing team that ain't showing up. Wheels are falling off the bus. Like, give them something to cheer for. That's
Yep.
good. All right. Thanks, Melinda.
I
We'll
still
credit
love
that one to her.
Saquon.
I love that.
I still love Saquon though.
Ah, I know. We have the talent to win. That's the frustrating
No,
part.
I know. I feel that about the Yankees, but neither here nor there. Let's get back to why people quit. So why do people say, "Hey, JT, I'm just this ain't working out. I'm done." Like what is that big piece? I honestly think they have started to allow the negative of this business supersede the positive.
Mm,
They're allowing the I'm gonna just list off a bunch of stuff. They're the minutia or the monotony of dials to get to them. They're allowing a single chargeback to get to them. They're allowing the no show. They're allowing the quit agent. They're allowing all of these things that they perceive as bad to take over the positives and the beautiful pieces about our business.
mm,
Like, and I personally think that's the number one of the number one. Obviously, there's other things too, is they just stop taking responsibility and start blaming everybody else. But if I can just kind of hone in on that piece of somebody like just let letting everything bad take over, the negative just starts to supersede. One thing I've always tried to remind myself, even when I was living with grandma, and as much as annoying as it was, none of y'all have had the experience. I don't think anybody has anybody put a 2016 in the chat or 2019 in the chat if you've been here before 2019. I don't think I'm gonna get a number. I'm not, okay. I'm gonna keep on rolling. None of y'all have had the experience of buying a lead in a county, okay, that you had to drive 3.5 mile, like 3.5 hours across, because I live in Maricopa County in Phoenix. All of our leads were in one specific county. So it would take me sometimes 3 hours to get to one other side of county and that's with traffic. And I had to take all of my leads. So I'd get 20 bonus leads and 10 A leads. And I'd look at my leads. I have 30 of them. And I would have to separate my leads between the West Valley and the East Valley. And then I would run all of my appointments. I'd dial Friday and Saturday and run on Monday and Tuesday. And I would go and drive through traffic, sit through everything, go and do nothing in the car because you can't really dial. All you can do is call agents or listen to some stuff on audio and you run a full Monday, 6 appointments, and a single person shows. I've had people leave water bottles on their doorstep saying, sorry, we had to run. And I just drove clear out to the middle of nowhere, put all these miles in my car for somebody to say, yeah, sorry, not home right now. And then,
bottle of water, like, thanks. Now I'm gonna have to pee on the way home.
yeah, well, and also it's been baking in the sun. It's like, I can't drink it. But then it's like what we forget about is that, man, even if that was the case, you know what I got to do? I got to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with my grandma every single day if I wanted to.
Mm,
You know what this business gave me the opportunity to do was to actually choose when I was going to work, not if. I could go on that weekender. I could go spend time with my mom. I could start attending the birthdays and things that I could and wanted to do. I started to feel like I was getting my life fulfilled in the other areas because I had the time and actually the opportunity to achieve the money that I wanted.
mm.
I was paying off my debt, right? I made 80 grand my first year in the business, didn't have a dollar to show for it in 2017, but I became zero debt, no student loans, no car. I had to buy a brand new car because I drove a 2002 Ford Escape. My first like probably 4 months in this business.
Andrew, I also owned a
Yeah.
2002 Ford Escape for a while. It was yellow. It was one of my favorite cars.
Yeah, mine was white, but here was the big thing. Jim, you know like how we drive it had the little stick shift here? Well, the stick shift, the gear shifter had busted off the engine, and I zip tied the gear shifter to the engine, and I drove that around for 4 months. And I just realized after a certain point, I'm gonna end up on Channel 9 News. Yeah. I should probably get a new car. So I bought that and I paid it off by the end of the year. Like all of these little things, the minutia, people not showing up, kind of you bought a set of leads, they didn't work out. I'm letting you know though, there's a lot other worse things you could be doing than being able to sit at home now, go and have and enjoy and hear all about your kids' day and spend it with them. Feel like you're actively working towards buying maybe the house of your dreams or even just getting out of an apartment and renting a home. Like, don't allow those things to steal your dreams because enough
Mm.
other people are out here trying to take away and shoot you down and tell you that they could tell you so. That one point they're over here like, Jim, you're so good. And then they're like, God, watch it. And we're going to tell them soon enough. No, don't let them write your story. I almost dropped an F-bomb. Screw that.
I mean, I love that perspective, and it's so true. Like what you focus on magnifies, right? And are there challenges here? Yeah, of course there are. There are challenges in anything you're going to go do. And when you get focused on that monotony and on that minutia and on the hard part of this business, that's going to magnify and grow until that's all you see. And I've talked to agents that are like, well, I think I'm going to go get another job. And I'm like, have you forgotten that other jobs come with annoying things too? Like you're going to get to that other job and that job ain't perfect. And now you're going to have the cons and the challenges of that. And, when my wife and I were looking at this, it was like, man, she was working as a nurse. And I'm like, you bring home part time, you bring home a paycheck of about $800 in 2 weeks. Now, granted, she was part time, only worked like 3 shifts in that, but it's like, that's one policy. One.
Yep.
Like what we do is crazy. It's
Yep.
crazy. Yeah, I love that. So when people are quitting, a lot of it is just getting focused on the hard, getting overwhelmed by the hard, and getting their eyes off of the good.
Hmm.
Let's remind people, what is that good? What have you seen? What have you seen here in 10 years that just blows your mind and is like, man, we are in such a blessed position. I always want to focus on that stuff.
You know, I'm gonna hit just close to home some of the guys that I idolized while I was going through this business and saw what they could do. So I saw, for instance, like Miranda Martin being able to take care of her two boys who were at the time were tiny. Like they were like 3 and 5, and now they're in teenagers at this point. I saw her going from being a divorced single parent, recently single parent, and at the time taking care of two boys, full custody, 3 and 5, and then basically her company that Ryan Miller and all of them came from declared bankruptcy. Coming into this business and making over $400,000 her first year with no prior sales experience, I saw her give her boys like one of the best lives I could have ever imagined. They would travel, they would go do things, they would stay, they would go get hotel day passes and just like hang out at the pool. She literally became full-time mom and built her business too. Like that was so cool. I watched Ryan Miller start to get to a point where Ryan lives like 15 minutes away from me and go to his house all the time. But I've watched him every single time he's gotten a new house. And I've saw just how much better they've gotten every single time. And I'm like, man, that's sweet. Like now he's got this whole den office, like that's just it's a man cave kind of, but it's actually like a full think like a lobby office at the same time. It's amazing. So I see that, and then I also get this opportunity to see like where I think it's maybe the smaller pieces that in maybe people's eyes where depend on what they want. But I get to see a lot of people go out there and pay for people's groceries in line. I get to see people go ahead and, could do IVF treatments. I get to see the blessings of money being given out to bring other people joy.
Mm,
Like, and then I think kind of one of the coolest things for me was just being in moments where, there was a moment where my grandma, she had retired. She was waiting on Medicare to swap over. And I was running appointments, came back, and she was just like very lackadaisical. She slept till 10 and it's like 2 o'clock and she's tired again. I thought it was weird. Turns out my grandma, she's passed away now, but she had like an A1C of 14. She was diabetic, insulin, you name it, she had it. Okay. Congestive heart failure, COPD, pacemaker, neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy, overweight over 300, like just everything. But one of the best souls ever. So like she told me she hadn't been on her insulin for 2 weeks at an A1C of 14. And knowing in this business just how impactful and bad that is, I said, Grandma, hell no. Like, how do we get some insulin? She's like, I just can't afford it right now. I'm like, well, screw that. I'll go buy it. And I drove right up the road to Cigna and spent $2,000 on these little insulin bills. I think it was like bottles. There was like 10 of them, I think. All in all, it's money here just feels different. I don't feel like
Mm,
I'm working to just pay some bills and that's all it's going to. I feel like I'm working to build a life of fulfillment. And I'll just kind of go from here real fast, Jim, is like I don't know where I read this or where I got it from, but I got something about like three buckets. And none of these three buckets kind of are any more important than the other. The first one just kind of said is like, man, I want to live a life of impact. Like I want to feel like I'm impacting someone somewhere somehow that I put a small drop in that bucket, like kind of throwing a stone in a river or a pond, and then the ripple effects happen, and that person goes on to become a larger than life leader. Like I just want that small little impact. They don't even got to give me credit. I just want to know I knew that guy when he was nothing kind of thing. Second thing I've always wanted, guys, I love going out there and experiencing like cultures and travel and doing things. And like, gosh, I just think the world is so dang big and God put so much incredible stuff on this earth. I just want to go see it for my own eyes. Like,
mm.
I want to have those memories and go and see the world and travel. And then, heck, Jim, I'm a big guy about experiences and memories. Like I'm the type, we buy a nice bottle of wine, I will open it up and crack it open. Let's all drink it. Tequila, come on, let's have a good time. Ribeye steak, if you can cook it well, let's do it. If not, let's have a cooking competition and see. Right? Like let's build those experiences, those memories. And what I found was symmetry gives you all of it.
Mm.
Impact people. You can go see their lives. You can watch their kids grow up. You can see their lives change. At the same token, you can travel the world. You can travel how you'd like. You can give back to others and do the charity water and fly out to villages and see the thing and them things that you're actually impacting, not just giving away money and hope what happens. And then you can really create those memories, whether it's from, Jacob Pogue buying U-Haul, the two U-Hauls worth of toys for kids that are unfortunate, to going to Walmart and paying off people's layaways, whatever you want. Like you get to really create your life here. And I think that's something people got to hold on to.
Put a two in the comments if you're here and excited to build that kind of life, a life of overflow, a life of generosity, a life of impact. We've got a lot of people that love that vision, came here for that vision. But Andrew, they are having trouble themselves buying groceries. They're having trouble themselves getting leads. They want this idea of overflow, but they got an empty cup that ain't flowing at all.
Yeah.
So, how do you do? And this is the hardest part, I think, about being in this entrepreneurial space is you've got to show up and act like your success is absolutely inevitable and you know exactly what you're building and you're going to go get it. And you got to do that all the while. You have no idea when it's going to happen. You have no idea, even really, if you're honest, if it's going to happen. And so you've got to wrestle with that stability. How do you coach people through, yeah, you want to have a big, exciting vision, but yeah, that might be a long time away. So, how do we manage the day in, day out, grind on the phone, get the chargebacks, fight for the policies? How do we connect the dots between I want this big life, but right now, this don't feel big? How do we
Well,
fight? How do we deal with that?
I feel like that's a multifaceted, just only because there's always pieces that we got to dig into. Is it something around somebody's I like to look at the four cornerstones. Is it somebody's belief, their massive action, the skill sets? Let's just say they're doing kind of everything right. At some point, though, Jim, you just got to give it some time.
Mm,
I know that might be super hard for some people right now because you're looking at this thing and you're saying, Andrew, well, I don't got time. I've got next month's rent coming up. I still haven't paid this month. And you know what my recommendation to you then is if you're out there grinding, great, just work 30 days straight.
mm,
I promise you this. Like if you actually hit 10 sits, it's hard for you not to go ahead and get some lay me downs. It's hard for you not to close too. But then my quick question to you is this. Jim, if you're actually sitting with 10 people, are you calling JT and asking him, JT, how do I get to the other eight? Or are
mm,
we just expecting it to kind of come and hoping that we get these lay me downs? Like, I think that sometimes when I think about a lot of things, I look at just like the people that have idolized my family, and I've watched, obviously, hey, people that grew up in the 40s, 50s, they had a different level of work ethic. But I also know my grandmother, on my dad's side, woke up at 4 o'clock and went to bed at midnight cleaning apartments in New York City, not knowing how to read or write in Spanish, let alone speak English. And if she can do something like that, I can work super hard to kind of get out the fight. So that's the first thing I just want to say is maybe it just does cost time. But Jim, I'll briefly share something that I haven't like really dove into with anybody yet. This was a really hard like personal year for me because I had so much extra stuff come my way that I just wasn't really prepared to have to pay, almost $240,000 extra out of pocket due to like just unknown circumstances. And amid that, in November, I'm coming off my honeymoon. I'm going on a second trip into Japan. I bought a house, and yet as of November 1st, I'll have paid off $248,000 in extra expenses in 11 months, and I still have been able to put over $20,000 a month in my bank account every single month. Guys, there was moments, I don't cry in front of my wife very much, but there are moments when I was like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do this. But I'm so grateful about this business, Jim, is that all I did was focus on kind of three very specific things and kept this business uberly simple. And so if you're looking for the tactical piece and the practical piece, this is what all I did. I just told myself I've got to figure out how to continue to make money in large sums of it in order to take care of that extra stuff that wasn't even my fault or my problem, but I had to deal with. And my grandma passed away. I forgot about that. That was a whole situation. I kept it simple and I said, okay, it's BRP, okay, building resets production. And I just told myself the number one skill set I have right now, Jim, that I don't have to pay anything extra into is my ability to develop more knowledge. And if I'm looking at every quarter of this year in my BRP, what skill set can I create for myself that allows me to make some more money in it? Or number two, grow my business in it. So I looked at building. I said, what skill set can I learn there? I looked at resets and I said, what skill set can I learn there? Just booking more resets. And I sent out a lot of referrals and I made, I think, close to like 60 grand in income from that. I said, okay, I can teach my other agents how to go do that. I took my production. I'm pretty okay at production by this point, 10 years in. But you know what I also said? I was like, man, I've got clients that I can actually start working with, but I'm going to make this practical that all my other agents can do for every client that I help. And I just worked Razor Ridge from November until March 2013, Razor Ridge a week. Every client that I sat with, I booked them on my calendar 6 months from then, whether I sold them or not. And you know what I started coming into? Just whatever it was in June, I started having like 6 appointments a week that I didn't even have to book. And all of a sudden that helped me continue this flow that everything was working and still putting $20,000 a month in my bank account, producing, being able to buy a house and we're renovating and we're doing all this amazing stuff. while also living out the life that I think everyone wants here. It's if I didn't have this business, I don't know where I would be. I'd probably be bankrupt somewhere. But I look at my wife and I'm like, that's what made her now go. She's taking her exam this Friday because she's absolutely blown away in 11 months what we were able to accomplish here in this business while she's over here working. She makes a good 100 grand being in, financial services. She's like, Andrew, that this year's convinced me that this industry, there's second to none.
Give your spouse something to cheer for, right?
Yeah.
Give your spouse something to cheer for. Man, I love that. So, challenging year for you, but blessed year for you. What are you excited about coming up?
Oh,
What's
God.
what's what's the new year? What's the new goal? Like you get to a place, what are you managing vice president, senior vice president,
SVP now.
SVP? All right. So senior vice president, you're 130, you've got a great team, you're making great money. You get to a point where like you've done everything there kind of is to do, and you're still so young. So like what's left for you? What are the goals you set? What does that even look like?
It's funny you mention this because, like, I think we have a lot of like goals that are my wife and I are in terms of like the materialistic things or things we want to get or do, experience to travel. But I've really started to I wanted to put in place the passive income that I can, go away for 3 or 4 months and everything's still running in place. And for the longest time, I think I've always kind of like, hey, told myself, build the machine, be the machine until you build the machine. Now I'm really excited to go do that because we have plans that we want to go and live in Europe for 2 months next year. And I'm just going to work out there. Then I want to go and try doing it in Asia for a couple months. Like I want to be able to experience, I think, the level of freedom and capacity to just go enjoy, and I've tested it a little bit, going to Asia twice in the past year. That's one of the biggest things we're excited about. We just bought this house, trust me. We're renovating it, want to enjoy a little bit of that. But I think the next thing is, Jim, is like, we've been looking at maybe what are some next areas that we can look at, or what can we buy elsewhere. So those are the two biggest, but I'm going to let you know the largest one is recently I got to see Brian retire Michelle's wife to be a full-time grandmother. And I don't have before people start assuming nothing. There ain't nothing going on over here. No, like this is just and double income, no kids still. All right. But I want to know what that feeling is like to be able to maybe give my mom the opportunity to just become full-time retired mom.
Mm,
We did that. I want to know what that feeling is like to look over at Anna, that God forbid anything ever happened to her mom. Her little sister has severe Down syndrome and autism. She's 27 years old with the development, or 28 now, developmental stage of a 3-year-old. So she'll never go beyond that. And God forbid anything ever happened to her mom, who recently got diagnosed with cancer twice over the last year. There's another thing that happened this year. Holy smokes. Uh, that we can take care of Maria should we need to. And she doesn't have to go into a home or anything like that. So it's those little things that I'm working towards, Jim. That it's not just my bills, it's not just buying a house. It's like I want to be the person everyone looks to and says, how the hell did you do it? And how can I change the family's legacy forever? That's
mm.
that's the path we're on at this point.
So good, man. It's so fun for me to hear from someone that's been here for 10 years. And again, especially you, like this is your whole professional life, right? You don't know anything else. And you look at that 10 years, guys, how many of you, and I love this quote. I got it from Tony Robbins. I don't know if he got it somewhere else first or if it's just kind of around there. He says, most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in a lifetime. So many people come here like by 1 year I'm gonna bar 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 bar, and then 1 year comes and they didn't.
No.
But that doesn't mean they failed. They built a foundation because 5 years, 10 years. Did you, when you were stocking boxes and thinking of life insurance, did you think, could you even imagine 10 years down the road, you were going to be living the life that you were living now?
or even being the person that I am,
Ooh, let's go.
then that's like you know when you're young, ambitious, you're maybe a little bit too like, oh, my life's gonna be XYZ, right? I feel so level-headed. Like, and I think that's one of the craziest things is sometimes I'll talk to a lot of other people or not in our world, but just friends and family. And I could be like, man, I can see so much further than where their head is at. And that is only because, guys, I don't know relationships any different than how we treat people here. I don't know leadership any different. You know what? I don't know how to treat my wife any different because I see a lot of really great marriages here in Symmetry, and I've emulated a lot of things that they've said and done. And so, yeah, man, I think it's for all around. I feel like I've become a really good human.
Mm, man, I love that. I feel the same. The caliber of people this business attracts. And I said this up front. If you want to get good at anything, surround yourself with people who are good at that thing, right? You want to get good at life insurance sales? Surround yourself with people who are good at life insurance sales. But the other thing that this attracts and requires is if you're going to get good at this, you've got to develop yourself. You've got to look at your insecurities. You've got to look at your rhythm. You got to look at the things that are holding you back and you got to challenge those and become stronger and better. And so I come here and I'm surrounded by people that are really solid versions of themselves, that every one of them would look back and be like, yeah, I'm a way different person than I was a year ago, let alone 3 years ago, let alone 5 years ago. And outside of this space, most people don't go on that journey. The person they are now is a person they are a year ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. They're the same person because they're living the same rhythm, and that's not here. If you are staying the same here, you are missing the boat and you're not going to last.
I want to throw in this. Anna said this the other day. She goes, Andrew, she's like, Andrew, I just don't like any people at my work. I'm like, why? And she's like, I don't want to be friends with them. I don't want to go on vacation with them. I don't want to go to dinner with them. She's like, I just go to work, I see them there, and I leave them there. She's like, I want what you have where you actually love all the people you work with. And it's because gosh, the upper echelon of this deal, Jim, like y'all are just incredible. Y'all are incredible people. And like you want better, good friends that you know will be there when hard times hit. We're also going to be surrounded by to help you become better in general. Like it's guys, we want more of you too. Yeah. It's just crowded down the bottom. Get up here. It's fun. We have a great time. We get to enjoy some cool shit too.
Well, I love that, man. I don't want to take any more of your time, but I'm super grateful for your time and especially last minute just coming and hanging out with us. Guys, jump to the comments. Let Andrew know something you're taking away from this that you can run with, that you can implement, that you can go to work with to make yourself better, to make your business better, to get closer to hitting your goals. He doesn't volunteer his time, which is worth a lot, but he doesn't volunteer his time just to hear, hey, that was a great call. Yay. He wants to know that it made an impact. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Likewise, brother.
All
All right,
right.
y'all. Talk to you.
Bye.